Hey everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the Alabama EMS Angles podcast. In this episode, we're going to be highlighting this year's Alabama EMS Conference. I'm one of your hosts, Russell Green, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about this year's conference. But before we dive in, I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to the Alabama EMS Association, the conference organizers, and of course, all the amazing volunteers and sponsors who make this event possible. It takes an incredible amount of behind-the-scenes work to bring all this together. From the education sessions, the networking events, to the exhibit hall, you all make it look effortless. We truly appreciate everything you do to support this community. This conference has always held a special place in my heart. Last year, I had the great honor of speaking here. It was a rewarding experience to connect with so many EMS professionals who share the same drive to learn, grow, and give back. That energy, that commitment to excellence is what makes Alabama EMS so strong. What I love about this event is it's not just about continuing education, it's about continuing connection. Whether you're a paramedic, EMT, dispatcher, educator, or administrator, we're all part of the same team, working toward the same mission, providing the best possible care to the patients and the communities that we serve. Throughout this podcast, we're going to be bringing you conversations with some incredible guests, innovators in the industry, and everyday heroes who are shaping the future of EMS. You're right here in Alabama. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and get ready for some great stories, powerful insights, and maybe a few laughs along the way.
All right, folks. This part of the podcast here be hosted by me, Richard Pike, and we're going to talk to EMS providers from all around the state, Tennessee line to the Gulf Coast, Mississippi to Georgia. We're just trying to get the stories of Alabama EMS out there, and we want to be your voice. So today I've got Mr. CJ Burke with me. He's the operations manager at Southern Ambulance Transport in Wedowee. That's in Randolph County. Just going to bring you in. Welcome, CJ.
Thank you for having me.
We've known each other a long time. I actually got to help train CJ a little bit when he was going through the schooling, and we've worked together several times, picked up patients from him when I'm at survival flight. So he and I go back a long way.
Yeah, sure do.
And just glad to have you here today. And so, like I said, we just want to kind of tell some stories of EMS from around the state of Alabama. You said you got a little something on your mind. I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, thank you for having me. So just to go into not too much detail, everybody can talk about blood, guts, and gore all they want to. They can talk about, all the trauma we see and all the bad days per se we have. Mine, I could do that, but the one that I'm going to talk about a little bit today kind of just sticks out to me is like, yeah, we made a difference, but the after effects of the call kind of made you feel good. And probably like everybody else, not all the time you get to see, your patients come back and talk to you and thank you, so to say. Of course, that's not the reason we do it, but it does make you feel good when it happens. And so my call happened here in Randolph County. We got a call one afternoon. It's during the summer. Got the call, and all it comes out as is, a 5-year-old male bleeding from the head. So, of course, hey, we don't know what's going on. We take off, scooting out there. I'll get on scene. Mom meets us at the door, and she says, hey, he cut his face on the cabinet. And I'm kind of like, okay, cut his face on the cabinet. Cool. So we go in, and there's glass, all over the floor. It turns out, kids being kids, him and his brothers and sisters were running around the house playing, and end up, he runs into the old china cabinet that was built when they built china cabinets for real. So a panel of glass shatters, and a shard, cuts him on the face, and it nicks him up a few other places. But the one real, injury that we're focused on is he's got a large laceration from his cheekbone all the way down to his mandible. So, of course, he's scared to death to start with. He's screaming, crying. So I go over and talk to him and say, all right, son, you're going to come with me. I'm going to pick him up. Well, it's like immediately he kind of calms down because, like, okay, someone's here that's going to help me. Well, so I pick him up. We round the corner out of the porch, and he sees the ambulance with the lights flashing. His complete just demeanor changes. Like, hey, I get to ride in this thing. So he kind of calms down, lightens the mood a little bit. We get him in the truck, of course, work on him a little bit, and clean him up some so we can see what's actually going on. We kind of determined he's going to need some plastic surgery more than likely. So, of course, we call one of our partners, come down and get him on the helicopter. I can't remember which one it was that day. It might have been survival flight, actually. But they show up, and he gradually gets more and more excited on all the different things he's going to get to ride on. Well, so we get him, bandaged up and packed up, sent off to Children's in Birmingham. Well, so like always, I never really hear anything back. You might get a TCC report or something that says, hey, you had this injuries, you pretty much guessed right or whatnot. His was pretty cut and dried. Well, this one specific day, I had him come to the office about 3 months after that call. I had him come to the office that day. I had been up most of the night before. So I get a phone call from one of my crews. They're like, hey, someone's here to see you at the office. And they won't elaborate at all. I'm like, okay, well, tell them I'll be there in 15, 20 minutes. No big deal. So get down there. Of course, I see a strange car that I didn't recognize in the front parking lot. I'm like, man, who's down here trying to chew me out now? So go in and walk around to our little kitchen area, and there's this, kid sitting there with his whole family, brothers, sisters, and everyone. And he, of course, immediately recognizes me, runs up, hugs me like, okay, man, that's, at first you kind of like, who is this? And I look and see the scar on his face. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember you. So then, of course, we sit down and have a conversation with his mother and everybody, and they're super thankful for what we've done. And they kind of elaborate on all the stuff he had to get done, the surgery, and, well, not really surgery, but the stitches under anesthesia and all that. So then she says, I'll be right back, walks to the car, or him and her walk to the car, and bring back in this card. And it's a little note that of course, she probably helped him write it, but a little note and signed his name in a card, thank you card, and a picture of him before and after the accident. And then she brings in a plate of brownies. So that was one of those times that kind of made me feel like, okay, well, all the bad we see and all the stuff we go through, it is worth it. We just, every once in a while when the kid walks back in and is thankful for what you done and can actually realize, hey, this person helped me and reciprocate that back. That means a lot to me. And I hope it would mean a lot to everybody else, make them feel good. So,
yeah, I mean, kids, those calls always kind of stick with us.
They do.
And, I remember several that I've had over the years, and, some of them I never knew the outcome, and others I have. And it always makes me feel better to know that, hey, this person is now they're 15 years old and about to go off to college, when I was taking them to Children's with RSV when they were 4 or whatever. And I'm bagging them the whole way to Children's and things like that. So, living here in Randolph County, it's not that big of a county. I mean, have you ran into him anywhere else? Seen him at Walmart, gas station?
I haven't since then that I, realized if I did, but he does live, not too far from the station. So I'm sure we will run into each other, and I'm hoping he plays some. They did tell me that day he was going to play some football. So I'm sure eventually we'll see him on the football field and whatnot. But hey, I'm glad the kid's all right, and it's just a relief to feel him, come back and talk to you. So there's been a lot that don't, or you never know what happened to him.
And you never know what's going to be therapeutic for the kid. Like you said, just walking out there and him seeing the ambulance lit up, and he's like, oh, I get to ride in there. Right. And suddenly he's calm now, right? I get to get on a helicopter.
Yeah, because most of them won't separate from mama and daddy, but hey, he was all about, let's go. So. And
that's awesome. Well, CJ, I appreciate your time, man. And if you're coming down to the conference, be sure to swing by the Ironed Out Media booth, and we'll plug you in there too, and check out all the vendors. And we appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely. Like I said, thanks for having me.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast so far. Let's talk about a few sessions and speakers you'll definitely want to add to your list. Antonio Ottaviani, he is a critical care paramedic and honor guard commander with the For Paul Foundation. Antonio's session on leadership and service will dig deep into the heart of what it means to serve, how to lead with integrity, and how to keep the culture of EMS rooted in purpose and pride. He's one of those speakers who leaves you feeling both inspired and grounded. And for those of you that love innovation, check out Christian Greengrass with lights, sirens, algorithms, driving EMS forward with AI. Christian blends his background as a flight nurse and paramedic with cutting-edge research on how data and AI are shaping pre-hospital care. And if you ever wondered how technology might actually make your next shift more efficient or even save lives, this one's for you. Now I'm going to take a second to highlight a couple of people that I know personally. First up is Colton Holmes. He is a coworker of mine over at Rams. He's going to be presenting RSI 101, Mastering the Art of Pre-Hospital Resuscitation and Intubation. Colton is one of those medics who makes the hardest calls look calm and controlled. More importantly, he's a natural educator. He takes complex skills, breaks them down so they make sense in the field. And if you want to sharpen your RSI skills or boost your confidence in those high-stakes moments, Colton's session is a must. And of course, I can't talk about this conference without shouting out to my podcast partner in crime, Richard Pike. Richard's going to be taking the stage with a session titled Real World versus the Book Way. What should we actually do? And if you know Richard, you know this is right in his wheelhouse. He's all about bridging the gap between textbook protocols and the real-world realities we face on every call. Working with him on this podcast, I've seen how he appreciates tough conversations, honestly with humor, and always with the goal of helping others think critically. His session is going to spark some great discussion and challenge the way we all look at best practices in EMS. Also make time this year for Cody Spalding, also known as the Salty Paramedic. He's going to be presenting Don't Lose Yourself, a first responders mental health workshop. Cody's going to be bringing us a refreshing mix of honesty and humor to one of the toughest parts of the job, taking care of us, taking care of ourselves. This is going to be a session that probably hits home for a lot of us. And if you're big on patient safety, check out Jerome Lovelady with One More Second, changing the way we think about patient safety in the chaos of emergency care. It's a great reminder that sometimes the smallest pause can make the biggest difference. But beyond the lectures and labs, don't forget about the social events, such as the Medics Milky Way Mixer. And always check out the vendor hall. Sometimes these out-of-conference sessions, vendor halls, that's where a lot of the sidebar conversations take place. That's where we connect with old friends, share stories, and realize we're in all this together. So as the conference countdown continues, take a look at your schedule. Circle a few sessions, may even speak to you, or maybe where you want to pick up a little bit of new knowledge or an area that you're unfamiliar with. Whether it's Colton's RSI workshop, Richard's no-nonsense look at the field of decision-making, or Cody's mental health talk, you're going to walk away better equipped, more connected, and possibly re-inspired. All right, folks, that's your 2025 Alabama EMS Conference countdown. I want to give another shout out again to the Alabama EMS Association, the organizers, the volunteers, and everyone that had a huge part in preparing and planning for this year's conference. We'll be back soon with more updates, interviews, and behind-the-scenes moments from the conference, live from Orange Beach, Alabama. Until then, folks, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you at the next session. Or possibly catch us at the booth.
All right, everybody. Thanks for riding along with us today on Alabama EMS Angles, the official podcast of the Alabama EMS Conference. We hope you've enjoyed the stories, insights, and behind-the-scenes look at the incredible professionals who keep Alabama's EMS system strong. Now it's your turn to join the mission. If you're going to be joining us at the 2025 Alabama EMS Conference down in Orange Beach, be sure to stop by the Ironed Out Media booth there in the vendor hall. We'd love for you to record a shout-out, share your own EMS story, or tell us about someone who's made a difference in your career. This show is powered by the voices of Alabama EMS, and that means your voice matters. Don't forget, swing by all the other vendor booths throughout the vendor hall. These are the folks who help support EMS all throughout Alabama. And many of them have great tools, technology, and resources that can take your service to the next level. And it's kind of fun to get to play with all the newest toys. So be sure to follow and subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast so that you don't miss our next episodes. Whether you're at the conference in person or if you're tuning in from anywhere throughout the state, we'll keep you updated with all the highlights, the laughs, the lessons, and even the legends of Alabama EMS. All right, crew, that's a wrap for this episode. We'll be back soon with more stories from the front lines of emergency medical services. And until then, we'll be orbiting the vendor hall, scanning the horizon for the next great EMS story. Stay safe, stay sharp, and keep aiming for the stars. This is Alabama EMS Angles, signing off.